In 1954, a man arrived in Tokyo with a passport from a country no one had ever heard of. Taured. His documents were perfect, his story flawless, but the place didn't exist. So who was he? Where did he really come from? And how did he vanish from a locked, guarded room without a trace? What if he really wasn't the only one? What if something far stranger is slipping through the cracks? It was a hot, sticky day in July 1954, and Haneda Airport in Tokyo was full of people rushing to and from flights. Among the crowd was a well-dressed European man who spoke perfect Japanese and French. He walked up to the customs counter with a black briefcase and handed over his passport. Everything about him looked normal until the officer noticed something strange. The passport said he was from a country called Taured. No one had ever heard of it. The passport looked real, had the right stamps, and seemed to follow all the rules, but Taured wasn't listed on any map. The man calmly pointed to a place between France and Spain, claiming that his country had been there for over 1,000 years, but in our world, that area belongs to Andorra, not Taured. Things got more confusing when they looked at the rest of his documents. His driver's license, business papers, and checkbook all showed the same unknown country. They looked professionally made, had watermarks and seals, and matched the standards used in Europe at the time. His passport had stamps from countries like France, Spain, Germany, and even Japan from earlier visits. Every stamp looked exactly right, but the companies he said he worked with had never heard of him, and the banks he mentioned didn't seem to exist. Officials thought it might be a forgery or a spy trick, especially since it was the Cold War era, but the man answered every question without hesitation. He described Taured's government, language, and culture like someone who had lived there all his life. A doctor checked him out and said he was completely sane and honest. His wallet had real money from France, Spain, and Germany. Even his Japanese business card looked perfect and was tied to a real company, but again, they had no record of him. His checkbook looked like ones used in European banks, but the bank it came from didn't show up anywhere. Everything about him was right except for the part that shouldn't exist at all. Something very odd happened at Tokyo's Haneda Airport one summer in 1954. A man showed up with a passport from a country called Taured. But here's the strange part, there is no country called Taured. Not in any atlas, not in any official records, not in any government system. Yet this man was calm, polite, and completely sure that Taured was real. He even said he had visited Japan before without any problems. Officials were confused and concerned. Embassies were contacted, police ran his fingerprints, intelligence agencies were alerted, but nothing came up. No record of the man, no country called Taured, nothing matched. Forgery experts checked his passport under ultraviolet lights. It looked completely legit. Real paper, real stamps from real countries, and no signs of faking. So how was this possible? Even more unsettling, the man didn't act like someone caught in a lie. He wasn't nervous, he didn't try to run, he looked just as confused as everyone else, like he was the one suddenly in the wrong world. And the more you looked at him, the harder it was to believe this was a prank or a mistake. Since they had no reason to arrest him but didn't dare to let him leave, they put him in a hotel room near the airport for the night. The room had no balcony, no escape route. A guard stood outside his door, another patrolled the hallway, everything was locked tight. That night, the man calmly ate dinner, thanked the staff, and went to bed. By morning, he was gone. Vanished. The door was still locked from the inside. The guards never heard a sound. His passport, his suitcase, even his clothes, completely gone. There was no broken window, no hidden exit, and no clue as to how he could have escaped. Security footage showed no one entering or leaving. It was just like he had just blinked out of existence. People working the case were deeply disturbed. Some guards said the hallway lights flickered that night. Radios acted strange, a few felt something was off but couldn't explain why. Later, these small details didn't feel so small anymore. The government quietly shut the whole thing down. No new stories, no statements, staff were reassigned. The case was marked as a national security matter, and Taured? Officially, it never existed. But behind closed doors, people kept talking. Some believed it was a secret Cold War operation, others had a wilder theory. What if he really did come from another version of Earth? A parallel reality where Taured was a real place, just like France or Japan. His passport had stamps from countries we know, but what if they stamped in his world, not ours? In the years that followed, other strange cases popped up. People speaking unknown languages, carrying maps with unfamiliar countries, or vanishing from sealed rooms. Most were written off, but this one left too many questions and no answers. And maybe the scariest part, no one ever saw that man or Taured again. Some scientists who studied the case later came up with a strange and chilling idea. They said the incident at Haneda Airport might have been caused by a temporary crack between two different versions of reality. This man wasn't faking anything. He might have really been from a world where Taured existed, and when that crack between dimensions closed, it pulled him back, along with everything he had. That's why nothing was left behind. There were also reports, never confirmed publicly, about weird energy spikes at the airport that night. The power flickered, radios made strange noises, and even the lights acted oddly. These things couldn't be explained by faulty wires or bad weather. Some experts thought this event might not be the only one of its kind. They quietly warned that other similar cracks could be happening without anyone noticing. In the years that followed, what once sounded like science fiction started to seem more possible. Ideas about parallel realities, alternate timelines, and cracks between dimensions became part of real scientific discussions. Concepts like the Mandela effect, wherein large groups of people remember something that doesn't match the official version of history, got linked to the Taured case. Some thought this might be proof that sometimes pieces from one world slip into another. Others studied how particles behave in strange ways and wondered if something similar could happen to people. The Taured event, once laughed off, was now treated as something worth studying, though only behind closed doors. Then came the darker theories. Some believed that the man's arrival wasn't random. Maybe he was part of something bigger, sent here to test how strong the barrier between worlds really was. The strange electric behavior, the way the guards felt off that night, the man's calmness, all of it began to look like signs of a controlled test, not a mistake. If that's true, it means someone, somewhere was trying to break through, and the sightings didn't stop. In 1962, a woman in Paris tried to board a train using a ticket to a place that didn't exist. She disappeared before they could figure out where she came from. So what are your views on this? Do let us know about your views in the comment section below, and for more such amazing videos, do subscribe to our channel.